This is Stafford Green-White-Checkered.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Stafford Green-White-Checkered. I am your host, your Stafford insider, Darren Ayotte, where we're going to be breaking down every Friday night of action for you from Stafford Spring's own Stafford Motor Speedway. We will have race recaps, up-to-date point standings, results, and much more. So let's get started with our Stafford headlines of the week from the second annual NAPA Auto Parts SK 5K. This week marked the second annual NAPA Auto Parts SK 5K feature event, where the SK Modified race was decided by a fan vote for number of laps, starting grid, and the earnings. That vote was then organized into chips that were placed in a bucket and selected based on those percentages. The Grand Marshals selected a 100-lap chip for the length of the race, and the winner of the race would select a chip in victory lane to decide where the Gambler's Challenge jackpot would go. After starting in 25th position and having a waterline snap on lap 25, the 6th car of Ryan Preece was able to find a way to get to the front, as others took themselves out in costly wrecks. Preece would hang on for the win in the end, his first of the season. Victory lane would see him select the winner-take-all chip to give him the entire Gambler's Challenge jackpot of over $12,000. What a way to finally get his first win of the season. We'll have the full results later on in the show. The drama didn't end in victory lane though, as the 21 of Justin Bonsignor would fail post-race inspection after finishing second to Preece. It was made official that the 21 car was 7 pounds underweight, docking him a position in the finishing grid per pound. A tough break for the 21 team, and we'll have more on that in the upcoming SK Modified recap as well. But let's start, as always, with our Legend Cars recap. The 75 of Corey DiMatteo was looking to win back-to-back races for the first time this season and continue to gain ground on points leader Devin O'Connell. DiMatteo took the lead, but with 8 laps to go, had to try and hold off the 43 car, who was breathing down his neck.
Hodgson looking for his first ever Stafford victory. So as they rumble into the first quarter, it is Corey DiMatteo still at command.
They head down the back straightaway for the final time. Corey DiMatteo starts to string it out. 2 turns left as they come off turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, double NAPA checkers. And it is Corey DiMatteo to take down the win.
Yeah, it's not always a good sight to see 3 laps ago. I can't thank NAPA enough for putting on this big event here today. Without them, we all wouldn't be here, so I want to thank them, the track. I just want to thank all my sponsors who got me here. I want to thank Drop Zone TV, Papa's Dodge, Island Cove Marina, Sign Pro, Manafort Brothers, Delta Arsenals, 30 Racewear, everyone who's got me here, my girlfriend, my mom, my father, Pigeon, Ferone, Shaler, everyone who comes out.
So Corey DiMatteo goes back-to-back and gains some serious ground in the point standings. Now let's take a look at the rest of the top 10. And you'll see in the results, Devin O'Connell does finish in second position. He gets his 10th podium of 2015, so Corey DiMatteo was only able to gain 2 points on him in the standings. Teddy Hogden comes home in third, his 7th top 5 of the season. A good race for them. 24 car Mikey Flynn, after missing the last 2 races, comes home in 4th. And you'll see Dana DiMatteo coming home in 6th. This is his worst finish since May 29th. Goes to show you the consistency of that 76 car. Kyle Rogers in 7th, and you'll see rounding out the top 10 are Brett Crowther and Jerry Macchia in a 13-car field. So here are the updated standings now as we're officially halfway through the season. And Devin O'Connell remains in front, Dana DiMatteo 32 back, Corey DiMatteo now just 34 back. You won't see any changes until 5th position, where Mikey Flynn retakes that position over Andrew Muller after coming back for this race. He is 172 back though. Jerry Macchia remains in 7th. Noah Corner takes up a position, as does Kyle Rogers in the standings. And Brett Crowther loses a position to 9th. So you'll see that the points race is really coming down, as it was even 6 races ago, to just those big 3, that being Devin O'Connell and the DiMatteo brothers. Of course, Dana DiMatteo, our defending series champion. It's now time for the Dare Stock feature recap, and the 11 car of Tyler Trott was looking to make it 3 straight wins and continue his push to the championship lead. A familiar face to Stafford Motor Speedway would find a way to hang on to the lead though, in just his third start in the Dare stock this season.
White flag is out. Final circuit. Evans way out in front. Marcello Rafano still in second. Dembeck is still in third. Robinson in the fourth position. And there's a side-by-side battle for 5.
And Latois trying to get there. Here is Phil Evans putting the finishing touches on an emphatic win. Evans will win it, followed by Rafano, then Dembeck in third.
We've been having issues here and there, you know, car's been sitting for a while, but I really got to thank Scott Cook. You know, he put me in this ride, you know, he believed in me, and
So how about that? The 27 car of Phil Evans gets his first win of the season in just his third start in the Dare stocks. What a win for those guys. Certainly did not see that coming, but a well-deserved victory for that 27 team. So let's take a look now at the rest of the top 10. And here they are. Marcello Rufrano, another rookie, comes home in second position. That's his best finish of the season, so he's really made some gains. He finished third last week, now second this week. Can he get that first career win? I'm sure it's coming up soon enough. The 93 of Dan Dembeck, a much-needed third-place finish. His 9th top 5, and he gained some ground on the points leaders, that being Frank Latois Jr. and Tyler Trott. Speaking of Frank Latois, he does finish 5th, though, and maintains that 12-race, 12 top 5 streak. We'll see how long he can keep that going. Tyler Trott does come home in 6th, so he loses a little bit of ground, but still not a bad finish for that 11 team. The 2-race win streak has snapped, though. And you'll see, for the rest of the top 10, you'll see Trace Beyer, Alexandra Fern. Nicole Chambrello struggled, but does come home 9th. And the rookie Chris Bagnall comes home in 10th, a 14-car field for that 15-lap feature. Here are the updated point standings now, with 11 races to go. And Frank Latois Jr., your defending series champion, remains in front. 6 points to Dan Dembeck, who retakes second position over Tyler Trott, who drops to third. A very close race there. Trace Beyer just 20 back, so don't count him out either. And Alexandra Fern still hanging in there under 50 points behind, so that's 5 drivers that are more than capable of climbing to the top of the standings with still 11 races to go. And hey, why not? Zach Robinson, the rookie, he's only 78 back. You just never know there. Marcello Rufrano also gained some ground today with now just 114 points back. And Paul Borden Jr., good to see him back after that tough wreck just recently. He's 182 points back. Does leapfrog Doug Phelps Jr. to 9th. So it's on to the limited late model feature now, and the 28 of David Ayotte just seemed to be on a mission for his second win of 2015. He had a great start, and he took the lead on lap 7 and would not look back. Take a look.
As he is able to swirl off the corner, they gallop into turn number 1, and David Ayotte is trying to increase his lead over Albert Saunders.
David Ayotte continues to string it out. He's had a tough go of it in this event. You can see the battle scars, both front and rear on his racetrack. But David Ayotte, he came, he saw, and will he conquer? Less than 2 turns as they come off turn number 4. Ladies and gentlemen, his second win of 2015. David Ayotte will take down the victory.
The beginning there was rough. Took us a while to get to 3 laps. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy on the start. All the fast cars starting in the back, but hey, that's how we got good racing. My crew worked hard for this one. This is our second win of the year. It's great. I mean, been a long.
So there you have it. David Ayotte wins his second race of 2015. Another big win for those guys, much needed for them as he continues to gain ground in the point standings. But first, let's give you the rest of the top 10 from that 20-lap feature. Al Saunders comes home in second. He opens up his points lead with a bad finish from Andrew Hayes, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But you'll see his brother Cliff Saunders comes home in third. They were battling there, if you saw, right behind David Ayotte on that last lap. Cliff Saunders, I think, needed one more lap, and he could have cleared the 0-4, his brother Al Saunders. But nonetheless, both of those two solid finishes once again. And Justin Brennan, he comes home in fourth. Another good run for him. And Paul Ayotte, after spinning on lap 2, he recovers for his third top 5 of the season. So Paul Ayotte really trying to make some gains in the standings. A strong day for him after the struggles early. David Como, the rookie, comes home in 6th. Robert Bloxham III, another rookie, comes home in 9th. And you'll notice Andrew Hayes and Austin Bassett not on this list. Well, in the 15-car field, they finished 13th and Hayes finished 14th. So that's that big hit in the standings we were talking about. And now we're going to show you that big hit in the standings. And it's certainly a lot more than we would have expected coming into this show. And 30 points back now for Andrew Hayes. He was not that far behind going into the race. But hey, still a long way to go and a lot of time to make up those 30 points. Austin Bassett also took a heavy hit to 36 points back, but you're going to see here no changes among the top 10 as far as positioning goes, just some differences in the differentials. And that includes Cliff Saunders, who's 46 back, and David Arute, you'll see, closing in on Cliff for 4th position. He's 50 back. So the points races continue to be tight here in the NASCAR All-American Series here at Stafford Motor Speedway. Well, it's now time to go on to the SK Light feature recap. And after gaining much ground on points leader Joey Farino last week, the 54 of DJ Burnham was looking to continue his rebound and take the points lead. Take a look.
The white flag is out.
As Burnham trying to go for his second win, his first since Spring Scissor weekend, as he just launches himself by the slower car of Pete LaPouche. Here comes Burnham into turn 4.
Off the 4th turn, David Burnham has done it. Win number 2 in the SK Lights. Membrino to finish in 2nd, Charland to finish in 3rd.
Oh man, we've had really fast race cars all year. We just had really crappy luck there a couple weeks ago. My brother, he came up with this setup during the week, and this thing was unreal. I mean, anybody could have drove this thing to victory tonight. The thing was gone. Every time I get out front, it seems to be a million cautions and red flags and everything. They like make it interesting for me, and sure was. I was a little sweating it there, I'm not gonna lie, but.
Wow, what a rejuvenating victory for DJ Burnham and this team. That's their first win since Spring Sizzler weekend. So now let's take a look at the rest of the top 10 from that feature, the 20-lap feature. Tony Membrino Jr. comes home in 2nd in that 44 car. It's his 4th straight podium and his 8th top 5 overall. Bob Charland gets his first podium of the season in 3rd. Stephen Kopchik, his 8th top 5 as well in 4th. And there's your points leader, Joey Farino in 6th. So certainly not the run that they were expecting, but you can take a 6th place finish as a points leader. It could have been a lot worse. Daniel Wesson, the rookie, finishes in 7th. Paul French, how about him? He comes home in 9th in that 76 car, and Wesley Prucker, who has been strong this season, rounds out the top 10 in a 19-car field. So here are the standings, and they've changed once again. No changes among the top 4, except for a dead tie in the standings atop. Joey Farino and DJ Burnham completely tied. Now the tiebreaker right now goes to Joey Farino for the number of wins. Joey Farino has 3 wins to DJ Burnham's 2. So keep an eye on that. If this does end up tied at the end of the season, it will come down to a tiebreaker such as that. So that could be an all-important extra win for Joey Farino in that 87 car. Daniel Wesson moves up 4 positions. He was the biggest mover so far. Glenn Griswold also up a position to 8th, 102 back. He's actually tied with Daniel Wesson, but of course, Wesson has 1 victory. Well, it's on to the next recap, and that's the late model feature. And the 92 of Tom Fern has been on an absolute tear, to say the least. And it would take a major effort from any driver to stop his momentum from another win. Well, that came from points leader Michael Bennett, who reminded the fans just who is on top of the championship standings this season.
The white flag is about to come out, and Michael Bennett, the Magnum, heads to turn 2 for the final time. This is a real Cinderella story. His wife is expecting a baby girl that was due, and he wasn't even sure he was going to be able to make it and compete here tonight. But Michael Bennett has done it. He will take down his 4th victory in 2015.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's not from lack of trying. No, we've had a good car, a few off nights, a few mishaps, but I'm glad we were able to get it all together. Had a great restart there on the outside, and it's a tough place to start here, and everything worked there for us. But yeah, I'm just waiting for my little girl to show up. That's for sure. Wasn't sure if it was going to happen tonight or not, so I don't know. Hopefully she'll be here before next Friday. We can
So how about Michael Bennett gets his 4th win of 2015 and his first since May 22nd. So another driver who hasn't won since the month of May. So a good win for those guys. And here are the top 10 finishers from the 30 laps late model field. Kevin Gambacorda still seeking that first victory, his 8th top 5 to come home in 2nd. Josh Wood also his 8th top 5, so both of those guys have been very consistent. He comes home in 3rd. How about the 77? Ed Ricard, he equals his best finish of 2015 in 4th, along with Rick Lanigan, another driver who equaled his best finish of the season in 5th. So some good runs for some guys that needed a good run. Rich Heyman comes home in 7th in that 28 car, and you'll see a pair of rookies in 8th and 9th. That's Michael Ray and Chase Cook, followed by Scott Cook, who comes home in 10th in that 5 car. That was a 12-car field, and you'll see 2 names that are not on that list that are big ones, and that's Tommy Fern and Tom Butler. Those guys finished 11th and 12th. The last 2 cars in the field, Tom Fern actually drove off the track towards the end of the race with a problem, and Tom Butler also had problems as well early in the race. So that's a big hit for Tom Fern in the standings after really climbing the last 5 or 6 weeks. So let's show you those points now. And Kevin Gambacorda is one of the highest movers. He moves to 3rd place in the standings after Tom Butler's tough night, coming home in last. Ed Ricard also gains 2 positions in the standings to Tom Fern's -2 in the standings. So Tom Fern's pretty much back where he was a few weeks ago when he won his 3rd race of the season. Well, it's time for that main event, as we say, the 2nd annual Napa Auto Parts SK 5K feature event. And with over $27,000 in prize money, it is the biggest SK modified race of the season. The winner could walk away with over $12,000. The 26-car field saw many drivers up front who were in need of a win, and that's Matt Galco, Justin Bonsignor, Ryan Preece, Todd Owen, and Ronnie Williams. We all know the struggles Ronnie Williams has had this year. There were also some drivers who have recently returned to the modifieds, such as Frank Rocco and Jeff Malave, who had strong runs all night long. Frank Rocco led for quite a while in that 9 car. With 7 cautions in that 100-lap feature, a lot of winning cars were taken out. Some, though, were able to bounce back and put on an incredible show, like that 6 car of Ryan Preece, who after having a week after week of winning cars fall short, and at the very end, he got the win that his team so desperately needed. This is Darren Ayotte reporting from the paddock area post-race after the 2nd annual Napa Auto Parts SK 5K feature event, where the 6-car Ryan Preece took home his first win of 2015, a much-needed win for those guys. And of course, he chooses the great time to get that win, being the SK 5K. He also was able to take home the full jackpot with the 5K bonus after selecting that chip out of the Napa bucket in Victory Lane. 100 laps would decide the winner of the largest payout in SK modified racing. Many drivers, such as defending race winner Rowan Pennick, put their gambler's chip into the bucket, totaling $12,800 in prize money. From the drop of the green flag, the Stafford crowd was treated to what they called the best race of 2015. 7 cautions resulted in many race favors to be taken out, such as Dan Avery, Joey Cipriano, and Ryan Preece, who broke a water line on lap 25, causing a multi-car pileup.
I need a pair of snips!
After extensive work, Preece's crew managed to get the car going again. He worked his way up slowly but surely until he took the lead on lap 95 and didn't look back.
I don't think I've gotten choked up when I've won, and very much. It's got to be something special, and that's what this was tonight. For my team, it means everybody's getting a few bills. When we get that check, they worked just as hard as I did, so we aren't gonna be greedy, and we're gonna give everybody a little something.
In the end, Ryan Preece comes home the winner of the Napa Auto Parts SK 5K event, 2nd annual. This is Darren Ayotte reporting from the paddock area at Stafford Motor Speedway for Stafford Green-White-Checkered. That was an incredible way to end the night at Stafford Motor Speedway. Ryan Preece getting a much-needed win. What a race that was. 100 laps to decide the winner. Preece went from the back to the front to the back to the front again. Just goes to show you how bad those guys needed that victory. So let's now look at the rest of the top 10 from the Napa Auto Parts SK 5K feature event. You'll see right away we have Justin Bonsignor highlighted in 9th position for that 7-spot grid penalty. So he did come home in 2nd, but in the end he is now officially finished in the 9th position. That is not the finish that they were looking for after coming so close to the victory. So those guys were very upset. We tried to speak with them after the race. They did not want to speak at all. They were very upset, and certainly understandable, but that's just the way it goes. There's always post-race inspection, and everything needs to be as accurate as possible. So now that Justin Bonsignor has moved down to 9th, this moves up Keith Rocco to a 2nd place finish, his 5th podium of the season. Ronnie Williams, we were talking about another guy in need of a finish, and he finishes in 3rd. Ronnie took the lead on lap number 86, but he was involved with a 3-car and a 9-car in a lap 86 spin. So as soon as he took the lead, it was not very long. He spun. They thought their race was over. He comes home in 3rd, so a big time finish for them. A couple other guys in need of finishes, and that was Ted Christopher in the 5th position, his first top 5 since June 19th. And Frank Rocco, who was also involved in that wreck and led early, he led over 15 laps, but he spun with Galco and Williams. He finishes in 6th. Jeremy Sorrell had problems all night long, but he salvaged a 7th place finish. That's your former SK Light champion. And Joey Cipriano also had problems, but he somehow ends up in 10th position, a good bounce back considering the problems they had in a 26-car field. And the notables for this one, Matt Galco 13th, Tyler Hines 14th, and the defending race winner, Rowan Pennick, nowhere to be found. He had a struggling car all night long. He finishes in 16th position. So what does that mean for the updated SK Modified standings? Well, that means Ryan Preece is now just 8 points back in the standings. He gained some heavy ground. Keith Rocco also moved into just 20 points back. But what that also means is that from 4th place on, the gap has grown. So Matt Galco and Eric Byrne are now 86 points behind. Justin Bonsignor did pick up 2 positions in the standings despite finishing in 9th. So he is in 6th position, 130 back. And you'll see a few others make moves, such as Joey Cipriano, a +3. Todd Owen loses a position. He spun out after having a solid run early on as well. So really the SK 5K not only was a wild night as far as the finish goes, but a wild night as far as the standings go in the end. So we will now end our show with this week's Stafford Rookie of the Week. And this week's winner is from the Dare stock. And though he is not a rookie among many other divisions of racing, such as the Waterford Speedball, he is a rookie of the Dare stock here at Stafford. The 27 car of Phil Evans won his first career Dare stock race at Stafford in just his 3rd start. Evans finished 11th and 8th in his first 2 starts, so that goes to show you the gains they made this week. Evans moved up to 15th in the standings despite only racing in 3 races, and he will now look to make his way up into a top 10 points position potentially if he decides to come back and continue to race for the rest of the season. So that is your Stafford Rookie of the Week, Phil Evans, who came in just his 3rd race to have a much needed and enjoyable victory for his team. Well, that's all we have now for Stafford Green-White-Checkered, and for our producer Antonio Squitieri, on behalf of the entire crew here at Nutmeg TV, I am your host, your Stafford Insider, Darren Ayotte, and we'll see you next week on Stafford Green-White-Checkered.